Hello, and welcome to the Fairy Frequency channel. Today I will be reading to you from Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming by Stephen LaBerge, Ph.D., and Howard Rheingold. If you've missed any of the previous chapters of this very dreamy metaphysical series, you can find them in our original playlist titled Exploring the World of Lucid Dreams, located on our playlist tab. We also want to encourage you to check out our community tab, as we often share video and streaming posts, as well as random photography and polls. Remember, folks, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you smash the like for us, hit that big red button and the little bell so that you get all of our channel notifications. We're very glad you're here and you joined us today. And we hope you remember to ask yourself, am I dreaming? Today's chapter is Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is Adventures and Explorations. Wish Fulfillment. A few years back, I was trying to lose weight. I would dream that I was in a grocery store, a bakery, or restaurant, and food was everywhere. I was conscious that I was dreaming and therefore could eat whatever I wanted. I proceeded to pig out on the feast before me, even tasting the food. These dreams would satisfy my cravings to gorge myself. I would wake feeling satisfied, not full, but satisfied. And if during the day I got the urge to eat something I shouldn't, I just thought, I'll eat it tonight in my dream, and I did. C.C. Cotati, California. I always wanted to dance professionally, mostly ballet. My mother, however, always discouraged it because of the hard work and hard life that went along with it. Eventually, I just gave up and never did take it seriously. However, the desire never left, and I would have a wonderful experience with it in my dreams, and would try new moves or steps that I saw or learned, but could obviously do nothing with except in my dreams. BZ, Salt Lake, Utah. This wish fulfillment aspect of dreams is deeply embedded in our colloquial speech. We speak of the man of your dreams, or your dream house, and we say, may your fondest dreams come true. These metaphors show that in our hearts, we know that dreams are different from the waking world in at least one important sense. In dreams, you can live your wildest fantasies, see your most delightful wishes fulfilled, and experience perfection and joy, even when these satisfactions are not possible in your waking life. In dreams, Cinderella can be with her prince, and prisoners can conjure sweet freedom. The crippled can walk, and the aged can be as young as they like. Everyone can feel fulfilled, no matter how impossible their wishes may seem in waking life. The experience of wish fulfillment is not the same as actually living out the same scenarios in waking life. Yet, the sensations are no less intense and pleasurable when you know it is only a dream. As the psychologist Havelock Ellis said, dreams are real while they last. Can we say more of life? When you are beginning to shape your dreams, wish fulfillment is a natural thing to pursue. Joyous flights through beautiful countryside, wild lovemaking with your heart's desire, sumptuous feasting, thrilling runs down ski slopes, acts of power and achievement, and any other pleasant experiences that you can imagine are possible in the lucid dream state. One of psychologist Ken Kelzer's lucid dreams provides a vivid illustration of the joys of lucid dreaming. I've been dreaming for a long time, and now I see myself lying on a brass bed in what looks like an old hotel room. Now I stretch out my body full length and begin to fly. My feet stick out through the bars at the foot of the brass bed, and without any effort or intention on my part, I lift the bed up off the floor. Soon the bed and I are flying together around the room as I seek a way to explore all the rooms in this huge hotel. Suddenly, I realize I am dreaming, and I feel exhilarated as the familiar, light-headed tingling sensations begin. I began to sing, "Beautiful dreamer, wake unto me. Starlight and dewdrops are waiting for thee." I deeply enjoy this song, and I sing it with my heart wide open. As I sing, I hear the gentle tinkling of a music box. The music box plays "Beautiful Dreamer" in perfect accompaniment to my voice by modulations, its pacing and its rhythm. As I sing the words over and over, I feel how wonderful it is to be lucid again, and I realize that "Beautiful Dreamer" is the perfect theme song for me. Now I see many beautiful colors and lights flashing about me. I see hundreds of rainbow droplets, tiny little spectrums, floating in spiraling circles of white light, and many small, shiny objects of art swirling everywhere. I feel very uplifted as I enjoy this dazzling display of music, light, and color. It is a fantastic feast for the senses, a miniature psychedelic light show, though much more delicate, sensuous, and uplifting than any that I've ever seen. Go ahead and indulge yourself in these joys. If you wish, it's good for you. Having fun, just for the sake of it, is beneficial in several ways. Psychologists and physicians are finding that daily pleasure and enjoyment are good for your health. Educators are also realizing that when tasks are fun, they are easier to learn. Robert Ornstein and David Sobel recently published a book entitled Healthy Pleasures, which discusses myriad ways that pleasure is good for your health. They claim that our innate desire to seek pleasure and persist in activities that feel good help us to live longer and happier lives. The healthiest people seem to be those who enjoy pleasure, seek it out, and make it for themselves. Some of the benefits attributed to indulging in pleasurable and sensual experiences are lowered blood pressure, decreased risk of heart disease and cancer, improved immune function, and lowered sensitivity to pain. Some people may protest that they do not have time to have fun, but as long as you have time to sleep at night, you have time to enjoy yourself in your dreams. By learning to have lucid dreams, you open for yourself a limitless amusement park full of all the delights that you can imagine. Admission is free, and there are no lines. If you take some time to play and take pleasure in your lucid dreams, you can learn to become more proficient at lucid dreaming. Once you have learned to have lucid dreams, whenever you like, you will possess a means of improving your life in many ways. The chapters that follow will discuss how you can use lucid dreaming to help you learn other skills, overcome fears, increase your mental flexibility, and find ultimate fulfillment. But the best way to attain the ability to use lucid dreaming for serious tasks may be to start off by using lucid dreams to have a great time. When lucid dreaming is easy and fun for you, then your dreams will be the ideal environment for learning and practicing for waking life. Wish fulfillment may be the ultimate use that many people will make of their lucid dreams, and their lives will be richer for it. But that doesn't have to be the end of the journey. Many of you will want to go deeper and higher to gain greater understanding of the dream state and apply lucidity to problem solving and other practical purposes. However, until you satisfy your urge to pursue the impossible made possible, you are likely to find yourself distracted from more sublime pursuits by your baser impulses. This is one more reason why you should not hesitate to give in to your hedonism and curiosity when you are first learning to have lucid dreams. Dream sex. My ability to achieve orgasm is highly vulnerable to stress and anxiety. Recently, during a period of several months of nearly constant anxiety, I seem to have lost the ability to climax. I knew it wasn't related to my feelings about my partner or anything he was or wasn't doing. The frustration ensuing from my not being able to achieve sexual release added to the rest of my general stress. But then one night, I had the following dream. I dreamed I was involved in the plot of a horror film. It involved a haunted house. or abandoned abbey, where I supposed awful things were to take place. I walk by what I take to be this haunted building, only it has been transformed into a large, cheerily lit department store. I think this is a neat trick. It will attract people whom think whom it can submit to its horrors. I enter and mill about. Everything looks normal, but I'm fearfully looking everywhere for the incipient danger. But then the thought occurs to me that this is a nightmare, and therefore I should face anything fearsome. This thought radically changed my outlook, and with an open and curious attitude, I turned to the scenery, now floating along, looking for challenges and anything interesting. I note that some people are operating a video camera at one side of the room, and that the video screen is on the other side. I am intrigued by the idea of getting my own image displayed and orient myself in front of the camera while looking at the screen. The idea becomes sexual, and I wish to display myself on the video screen. At first, it is a struggle to get the screen to display anything other than my back from waist up, clothed. But eventually I get the right zone on the display and begin to move my jeans. I begin to experience sexual arousal, which intensifies quite rapidly, and within 5 seconds, I have a wonderful orgasm. The first I'd experienced in 2 months. I awaken immediately afterward, feeling delightful. The very evening following the stream, I easily experienced my first waking orgasm in 2 months, and in a few weeks following, though the rest of the anxiety-provoking situation remains, I have achieved climax whenever I desired. A.L., Santa Clara, California. I am an inmate confined in a federal prison. When I read the article about being conscious while in the dream state, I became very interested in it, for I was able to do the same thing. I have had such experiences while dreaming and have loved them. They have at times given me a way to escape from being confined. In one such dream, I started realizing that if I wanted to, I could control the environment here, for this was created by my subconscious, therefore subject to my conscious will. I thought for a moment of what I would like to do. The first thought that came through my mind was the fact that I had not been with a woman in years, and this is what I wanted most, for even though it was only a dream, everything there was just like here. There was no difference. So as I sat there, I looked at these two guys and told them this was no more than a dream. I then told them I have been in prison for a while now and that I wanted a woman to have sex with. Neither of them said anything, but looked at me in a crazy way. I then repeated my desire and began to think upon it. The guy at the table then told me that I should go into the other room. So I got up, went to the door, and before entering, concentrated on my desire. I was there then in the room. There on the bed was lying a woman who had been in the dream earlier. I took my clothes off and got into bed with her. Throughout the entire sexual act, I kept concentrating on keeping in a conscious state of mind, because in previous such dreams I would panic or lose myself and fall out of the dream. There was total awareness of every moment of our sexual act from beginning to end. After we were finished, I rolled over on my side. As my head hit the pillow, I felt that drifting feeling coming over me and realized that I was getting ready to pass into the blackness that I always find myself in when I leave these types of dreams and wake up. DM, Terre Haute, Indiana. In this lucid dream, I am in the French countryside, riding a beautiful horse along with someone I've always wanted to meet, but never have, and have lusted after for many years, the actor Michael York. It is late afternoon, and we have stopped our horses to walk together through fields of exquisitely perfect and very fragrant flowers, which we can both smell distinctly. We then have a flower fight and fall together into the softest bed of flowers ever, where we make love with a cool breeze floating over us. We ride back to a chateau together on one horse, the others follow by my verbal command alone. When we reach the chateau, Michael takes the horse to the stables, and I go upstairs to a huge marble bathroom with a sunken tub rimmed in platinum fixtures and with a stained glass skylight. As I step into the perfectly bubbling and heated bathwater, I think of Michael, naked, walking into the bathroom and joining me, and he appears. After a long bath during which we have fallen asleep in each other's arms with the water flowing around us, we adjourn to the bedroom where I once again think of red wine, Margot 73, biscuits and jam, and it's there. We are wrapped in soft, white, thick sheets made of heavy silk. Just as we bring the wine to the bed, I wake up. JB, Long Island City, New York. As you would expect, in a land of complete freedom, sex is a very common theme in many people's lucid dreams. According to the psychologist Patricia Garfield, an experienced lucid dreamer and noted author of books on dreams, orgasm is a natural part of lucid dreaming. My own experience convinces me that conscious dreaming is orgasmic. She reports that 2/3 of her lucid dreams have sexual content and that about half of these lucid dreams culminate in orgasms that are apparently as good or even better than in waking life. In Pathway to Ecstasy, Garfield describes her lucid dream orgasms as being of profound intensity. She finds herself bursting into soul and body shaking explosions with a totality of self that is only sometimes felt in the waking state. There are both psychological and physiological reasons why the lucid dreaming state tends to be a hotbed of sexual activity. In terms of physiology, our research at Stanford has established that lucid dreaming occurs during a highly activated phase of REM sleep, associated as a result with increased vaginal blood flow or penile erections. These physiological factors, coupled with the fact that lucid dreamers are freed from all social restraint, ought to make lucid dream sex a frequent experience. These findings imply that lucid dreaming could become a new tool for sex therapists and new hope for those who suffer from some forms of psychosexual dysfunction, difficulty in achieving orgasms, etc., or some cases of impotence, premature ejaculation, difficulty in achieving orgasms, etc. Like many new ideas based on the discoveries of lucid dreamers, this one is untested and ripe for research. Nevertheless, it is fairly clear, as shown in the second example given above, that lucid dreaming can provide a sexual outlet for people confined to prisons, working in isolation, or whose activities in waking life are limited by a physical handicap. The significance of dream sex can vary tremendously. For some, it is just a good time. For others, it means union of opposite parts of the personality. It may even provide the starting point for speculation, as in the case of Samuel Pepys, who recounted a dream in his diary entry for August 15th of 1665. I had my lady Castlemaine in my arms and was admitted to use all the dalliance I desired with her, and then dreamt that this could not be awake, but that since it was a dream, and that I took so much real pleasure in it, what a happy thing it would be if, when we are in our graves, we could dream, and dream but such dreams as this, and then we should not need to be so fearful of death as we are in this plague time. Exploring and closely observing dream reality. I am in a garden and feeling lighthearted and joyous about my ability to fly. I spend much time performing all manner of aerial acrobats, and the sense of freedom I am experiencing is beyond description. I descend then to enjoy the garden at eye level and realize that I am quite alone in this place. At the moment of this realization also comes the awareness that I am in fact asleep in my bed and having a dream. I am fascinated by the seeming and I'm fascinated by the seeming solidity of my own body within the dream and find great amusement in the act of pinching myself to see if I'm real. I indeed feel as real to myself as anyone feels to themselves while awake. I become then quite serious in pondering this matter and take a seat on a rock at the edge of the garden to think on this. The thought that comes to me is this: The degree of awareness one is able to achieve while in a dream is in direct proportion to the degree of awareness one experiences in waking life. I am startled by the ability to have such complex and concrete thought within a dream, and I begin to examine the condition of my waking life from a perspective that seems impossible to do while living in one's waking life. I am further startled at being able to do such a thing within a dream and begin to experience some apprehension over this entire matter. I decide to get up and inspect my surroundings. I notice that the garden is a stage set. All the flowers are painted in luminous colors and in great detail on freestanding flats. Being an artist, I am quite taken by the skill inherent in the painting of them. I then wander backstage through a hallway that is papered in red flocked wallpaper. Still aware that this is a dream I am taken by the amount of detail, and I am able to observe, hear, and touch the wallpaper to feel the flocking. At the end of the hallway is a bookcase, and I am fascinated by the ability to read the titles of the books, the feel of their leather bindings, the details of the drawings on them. D.G., Woodland Hills, California. I was traveling down my local mountainless 2-lane highway in broad daylight when it became pitch dark in a split second. I almost smashed into the rear end of a slow-moving tractor trailer in front of me. I followed it a while up a steeper and steeper mountain. Then as I glanced to my right, there was the dark outline of another tractor trailer pulled off on the right shoulder of the road. As I crept farther down the road, I saw embedded lengthwise in the side of the mountain another tractor trailer. As I took my eyes off the tractor and glanced at the road ahead, my car bolted forward down the road alone, and I shot out into the universe at a breathtaking, totally exhilarating velocity. I knew I was dreaming as I could hear my sleeping husband's breathing beside me and knew my body was on the bed. I was a speck of light traveling at a tremendous force through space, and I was elated. I shouted, "Yes, yes," and I could see 360 degrees around me. Ahead and to the right, I saw our planet bathed in light. To my left, and higher still, was another bright, spinning globe. Around the middle of the globe, unfolding like a ribbon, were the most beautiful, bright, stained glass colors, pulsating energy, and I became one with them. Next, from the unfolding ribbon came musical notes, which I could see but not hear. Then came letters of the alphabet in no particular order, then numbers, again in no particular order. Finally came symbols, the circle and the triangle and a few others, then many I'd never seen before. "This is all the wisdom of the universe," was the message I received telepathically. As I started to go around the curve in back of the globe, I thought I must be dying, having a heart attack or stroke, although I felt no pain, and I came back to my body. While I was out there, I had no feeling of being a wife, a mother, a grandmother, retired legal secretary, etc., which I am. Out there I was alone, but not alone, like part of a whole. It was warm, still bright, and seemed to me to be a whisper of something. I was infinitely more alive there than I have ever felt here, and I've always been a very active woman. I wish I hadn't been afraid to round that curve. A.F. Melrose, New York. Exploring lucid dreaming offers many delights and rewards. The world the worlds of lucid dreams are fascinating and constantly changing, with many vistas of breathtaking and unearthly beauty in which the impossible and unexpected regularly happens. There are at least as They are at least as interesting and rewarding to explore as any place a waking world traveler might want to visit. In fact, the lucid dream world offers several advantages. It doesn't cost anything, but a little effort to get there, and unlike Paris, China, or Tahiti, you will never see all the sights. Moreover, you won't get seasick, stuck in airports, and have your bags stolen. Lucid dream travel is guaranteed to be safe and, for most people, almost always pleasant. We aren't saying that lucid dreamers don't sometimes face demanding, anxiety-provoking situations, but that while they are undergoing fully realistic, harrowing experiences. For example, being chased by demons, axe murderers, or other monsters from the id, they are actually safely asleep in bed. Whatever they do in their lucid dreams, they will soon find themselves safely returned to the physical world. If, for example, you unsuccessfully attempt to avoid a dreamed danger, you may awaken in a sweat, but physically unscathed. Even better, if you use your lucidity to help you face and overcome fears, you will awaken triumphant and inspired. Travel broadens the mind because it brings people into new and challenging situations outside their normal, limited, and habitual world. Lucid dreaming presents many opportunities for broadening the mind. Intrepidly enhance your knowledge of both yourself and others. As Goethe put it, if you want to know yourself, observe the behavior of others. If you want to understand others, look in your own heart. There is much to be learned through lucid dreaming. If you are sensitive and attentive in your observations, you may discover great treasure in the course of exploring your dream world. You may even find yourself. Another benefit of observant exploration and examination of dream reality is that it helps you become better acquainted with your dreams. As a result, you will more easily recognize dream signs, which will help you to become lucid more frequently. Experience will teach you how to avoid misconceptions about the differences between waking and dreaming. Novice lucid dreamers often fail to recognize that they are dreaming because they are tricked into accepting the reality of dream scenes. They appear quite like ordinary reality to casual observation. The following dream shows how this tendency caused one of us to fail to become lucid in a dream with an ironic dream sign. Finding myself driving with my father to JFK Airport, I began to wonder what will happen to the car after we park it and fly off to San Francisco. And then I realized that I had no memory of transporting that car to New York in the first place. Something was very wrong. I looked at my father and he gave me a quizzical grin. Yes, he seemed to be indicating something is wrong, but you don't get it yet. So I looked at the cars around us on the freeway. They were absolutely lifelike, filled with strangers on their way to unknown destinations. They all had dents and license plates. The upholstery in my car was exactly the same as it should be. The moment I awakened, I realized that my father had been dead for 10 years and felt foolish to have failed to become lucid in the presence of such an obvious dream sign, simply because the dream had seemed so realistic. I firmly resolved to avoid this mistake in the future. The next night, seeing a dead friend in a dream, I ignored the absolutely realistic look of the place. I met him and realized I must be dreaming. H.R., Mill Valley, California. By observing while lucid how real the dream world can appear, you will be less likely to make the mistake of accepting that seeing is believing, and that vividness has anything to do with the reality of an experience. You will learn instead to distinguish the two worlds by becoming familiar with the characteristics that make them different. In dreams, all things are much more transitory than in waking life. Physical laws are frequently broken. Dead or imaginary characters appear among the living. Wishes become horses, and beggars do ride. Adventure from Walter Mitty to the Hero's Journey. The first controlled dream I can clearly recall was when I was 5 or 6. I used to dream that I was flying around the earth in a rocket I had made from a garbage can. The bottom was glass, and I had a lovely aerial view of the world as I flew wherever I wanted. When it was time to land, my rocket was not equipped for landing. During the descent, I would tell myself, "Time to wake up," and I'd wake myself up, though sometimes I would get perilously close to the ground. I was never afraid of the inevitable crash because I knew I was dreaming and could wake myself at any time. I had a lot of enjoyment from this dream for about 6 months. K.M., Rathdrum, Idaho. What a wonderful discovery it was when I read an article about your research on lucid dreaming today. All my life I have flown throughout many nights and taken wondrous adventures upon the wings of my imagination while dreaming. I have talked to bears, dogs, raccoons, and owls. I have swum with the dolphins and whales, breathing underwater as if I had gills. LG, Chico, California. I'm an astronomer, and I pride myself on my powers of detailed observation. I would like to add to our knowledge of the sleep state. I have saved the Earth from nuclear war, the galaxy from its core exploding, the universe from final heat death. I have inhabited a score of other bodies and personalities, from the distant past to the technological future. One of my more interesting lucid dreams lasted for over 5 years in the dream time frame, during which I lived in the far distant future, in a body very different from my present one. I would actually fall asleep in this nest life. Interestingly, I did not have lucid dreams in this altered life, but each time I awakened from the nested sleep, I would become instantly aware that I was having a lucid dream, and each time I chose to stay in the dream. This was far in the future, when the moon had broken up to form lovely multicolored rings, which I would watch with my wife and little girl in the cool evening twilight. SC, El Paso, Texas. From fairy tales to fiction, from fantasies to daydreams and night dreams, the human imagination is a limitless source of adventure. Great storytellers are rare, but we all seem to have a deep capacity for appreciating stories and inventing personal ones to fulfill our need for excitement. James Thurber's classic tale, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, has provided the American archetype of the armchair adventurer. Walter Mitty was meek and undistinguished in the external world, but in his fantasies he was a hero. Whether or not we are meek in waking life, we all can be heroes in our dreams. Many people have written to us about their lucid dream experiences, noting that they began to become conscious of their dreams as children and used the opportunity to live out adventures as knights on horseback, princesses, or space explorers. In this sense, lucid dreaming can be used as a kind of wish fulfillment tool for adventurous at heart, or for those who would like just a taste of the adventure. Some of our correspondents have written that they have enjoyed regular nighttime adventures for decades, just as some people can spend a lifetime enjoying travel stories or science fiction novels or westerns. The ability to vicariously enjoy the experiences of fictional characters gives us raw material from which to construct our own adventures. You can start out as Ivanhoe or Mata Hari and experience for yourself the scenes you have read about or seen on a movie screen. Unlike a book or a movie, however, your lucid dream adventures can continue indefinitely with a new episode each night or each REM period. Exercise. How to script your own adventure. I have always looked at my dreams as being an ongoing story in which I've cast myself in the leading role. Things that happen in everyday life or on television or in a movie are molded into scenes for my story. Sometimes it can be a man that I have met. For the most part, my dreams are made up of situations that I would really like to happen in real life. D.W., Brooklyn, New York. Not uncommonly, Onironauts have reported that they have consciously scripted, directed, and starred in their own lucid dream productions. One woman wrote that she even rolled credits at the end and woke up laughing at her own joke. In writing your own script for adventure, you can start out with a simple plot. Feel free to borrow from Shakespeare, fairy tales, or comic books. Superman is a frequent persona adopted in lucid dreams. Be open to variations. When something new happens, something that wasn't in the original script, then follow it and see where it goes. If and when you grow tired of experiencing known scenarios, sketch out a simple one of your own while you are awake. Concentrate on it before you go to sleep and see if you can produce it like a film when you become lucid. Here are a few suggested titles for the kind of adventures that you might try when you start. Choose one that appeals to you. Frontier Explorer, Seeker of the Holy Grail, Vision Quest, Astronaut, Time Traveler. The Hero's Dream. Fantasies and adventures can operate on many levels of the mind. At the lowest level, they satisfy our need for excitement and wish fulfillment. However, they can also help us focus our goals, create futures for ourselves and the world, and on the highest level, model the search for truth and the meaning in life. For those of you with an interest in the psychological and mythological aspects of storytelling, who want to put your lucid dream scenarios to work on a deeper level of adventure, we recommend reading the late mythologist Joseph Campbell's book, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. Early in the book, Campbell points out that the hero's adventures of all mythology, regardless of their origin, seem to follow a standard pattern. His theory suggests that mythologies reflect symbols that are not dependent on a particular culture, but are deeply embedded in the human psyche. By acting out the classic myths, lucid dreamers can explore the paths of initiation and human development represented by myths in the microcosm of their own minds. Campbell's monomyth pattern can help you in scripting your dream adventures. The standard path of the mythological adventure of the hero is the magnification of the formula represented in the rites of passage: separation, initiation, return, which might be named the nuclear unit of the monomyth. A hero ventures forth from the world of common day into a region of supernatural wonder. Fabulous forces are there encountered, and a decisive victory is won. The hero comes back from this mysterious adventure with the power to bestow boons on his fellow man. You find the same story everywhere you go, Campbell claimed, although the characters and settings may change names. George Lucas acknowledges that Star Wars trilogy was strongly influenced by Campbell's book. Let us examine the way the adventures of Luke Skywalker adhere to the formula quoted above, so you will have a better idea of how to devise your own personal variation. At the beginning of the trilogy, Luke is just an ordinary boy, unaware that vast forces are about to focus on him. He does not realize that the appearance of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the wise old man character, signals a turning point in his life, the departure phase that Campbell calls the call to adventure. Luke, cut off from his familiar world by the murder of his aunt and uncle, sets off on a journey. Along the way, he experiences a victory over himself, making contact with the Force within him, which allows him to save a world from the evil plans of Darth Vader, a dark cloaked and masked shadow figure, right out of the pages of Jung. You may choose to begin your own dream hero's journey from familiar territory. Perhaps you will reject the temptation to indulge in one of your typical lucid dream pastimes and instead set off in search of a new experience. Your mission might involve the defense of freedom, the discovery of a legendary land such as Shambhala or Oz, or the recovery of a magical object such as the Ring of Power. In Campbell's schema, the departure phase proceeds through the stages of refusal of the call, fear of leaving known territory, supernatural aid, your wise old man or fairy godmother, the crossing of the first threshold, a step away from the familiar, and the belly of the whale, no turning back. By this time, ordinary life has been left far behind. The initiation phase begins with the road of trials, wherein dragons and villains, disasters and sinister forces, fear and monstrous perils are confronted and defeated. The final stage of initiation is the ultimate boon, the attainment of the goal. The maiden is liberated. The ring of the power is recovered. The Tin Woodsman finds a heart. But in myth, as in lucid dreaming, the arrival at the goal is not the end of the story. The final and most heroic phase is when the hero returns to the ordinary, waking world, bringing something to enrich not only the hero's life, but that of the community. He may marry the princess and become the beneficent ruler of the land. Exercise. You are the hero. Think of a hero's story that appeals to you. You can use the structure of a classical myth or story, or you may invent your own, based on the pattern described above. If you want a little vicarious practice before taking your own journey, immerse yourself in Star Wars, or the Arabian Nights, or Wagner's Ring of the Nibelungen. Examine the characters and the action as they progress through the stages of the monomyth cycle. You don't have to invent elaborate plots or construct dialogue. Simply note possible scenes in the journey of your chosen hero identity that fit with the model. Write them down in simple sentences. Read the script before you go to sleep. The next time you attain lucidity, remember your script. Turn your back on the familiar. Be open to guidance and begin your quest. Commentary. On the deepest level, Campbell suggests that anyone who seeks the ultimate meaning of life must make this journey on a psychological and spiritual level, and that the journey structure is often manifested spontaneously in dreams. Thus, you may find that your dream story takes on powerful significance to you. In Chapter 12, we will return to the idea of using lucid dreams in the quest for your true self. And that is the end of Chapter 7. So remember, folks, if you've missed any of the previous chapters of this very wonderful, dreamy, and metaphysical series, you can find them in our original playlist titled Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming. And if you want even more information on your dreams, you might also want to look in our original collaborative playlist titled Dreams and Visions. All kinds of good information in there. And don't forget to come back and leave us a comment after this processes. And we'd love to see you on our community tab too. And wishing you all a beautiful day. Don't forget to ask yourself, am I dreaming? And happy lucid dreaming, everyone. Goodbye.